let me ask you something. Do you really feel that that corporate job is as safe and secure as you think it is? Because, spoiler alert, it is not. Listen, I get it. The paycheck, the steady benefits, the stability, it all feels very safe. But here's the truth. Staying stuck in that comfort zone is the real risk. And let me tell you, the security that you feel can disappear in the blink of an eye. So if you've been dreaming about starting your own consulting business, but fear and doubt are holding you back, then this episode is for you, because I am pulling back the curtain and taking you inside one of my coaching calls where my client and I tackle the exact mindset challenges that are keeping so many of you stuck. Scarcity, fear, imposter syndrome, all of it. So if you are ready to finally take the freedom and get the control that you deserve, then let's get to work. The last time that we talked, we were talking specifically around you kind of getting a handle on your ideal idea and your market research, some competitive analysis, really kind of aligning your passion to your profit. So I am excited to kind of hear what you came up with, because I know you were toying with a bunch of different ideas. So are you leaning towards anything now, or where are we at?
Well, I would say that I'm leaning more towards consulting,
Okay.
because I feel like if I'm a consultant, the coaching can always be there. It can always, I guess, complement the consulting.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just go the straight coaching path, then I know I could do both.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was thinking of, more on the consulting.
Okay. So did you complete the Passion to Profit course?
So I'm gonna tell you the truth. I got up to,
Yes, please do.
I mean, because
I know
I
it was the
tell the truth.
holidays too. It was the holidays, right?
Yes, I
It,
completed up to step 6.
okay.
What the reason I will say is because because it was the holidays, yes. But a lot of the work
Mm-hmm.
I've done it. I probably need to sit down and finish step 6 and continue. But I think once I kind of figured out, you know what? I think I've been afraid of saying consultant.
Why? Well, okay, so tell me, dive a little deeper. Because as if you decided that if you got to step 6 and you said, you know what, from where I am right now, I think that consultant is where I'm leaning. That's
Mhm.
okay. That's perfectly okay. You don't even have to necessarily finish unless you're still wavering, right? But if you
Mhm.
know that consulting is where you want to go, now I want to hear why you've been afraid to say it.
Well, I think partially is imposter syndrome. Um, and then it's as though, like, it's like I have all of this knowledge and ability, but to say I'm this, I can be that for a corporation, but afraid to say I can do it for myself, if that makes sense.
It does make
Um,
sense, for
and
sure.
just hiding behind, oh, I have this corporate job, I've been doing this, and it's safe, right? But if I say consultant, then that's another layer that is like, ooh, do you really want to peel back that layer? Well,
Mm-hmm.
could you really do it? What if you don't get clients? And I
Mm.
think what has always held me back was my family obligations, just to
Mm.
be honest, is, I came from a single mom household. I grew up a lot sooner than what I should have, and took on a lot of more responsibilities of taking care of myself and having that fear around money that I don't want to be poor anymore. I don't want to go back to poverty if I don't succeed. So therefore I've been on this tightrope of, you got to get it, get it, get it, get it. And the only safe place is a corporate 9 to 5, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was born and raised thinking.
Conditioned, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just like a
Yeah.
little baby calf
Yeah.
conditioned to be veal, right? I feel like I've been in this little box, and I'm like, well, but it is safe. And what I had to work through was that it's safe, to say consultant, not like I have to leave my job now, but it's okay to say, English, it's okay to say you're a consultant because you can be that and still work your job. And so I think once I worked through that a little bit, I was able to say, okay, I can. And if I try and I succeed, then it's great. And not give myself this, oh, you can't do it. Just like giving myself all these excuses of why I can't do it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in, I got to take care of my family. I got to do all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And first, let me tell you how real everything that you just said is. And, it's something that I think we are all conditioned to believe that that is safe, right? I grew up very similarly, right? My parents divorced when I was young. My dad worked for 42 years at General Motors. My mom was a nurse and worked doubles and triples and, and raised me to believe that you're supposed to work somewhere for 35 years. And back then, pensions was the thing, right? I mean, my dad retired with his pension, pension, pension. It wasn't
Mhm.
until I started helping him taking over his finances when I realized this pension, he worked 40 years for this. I was just so,
Yeah.
I felt like the wool had been, you
Mhm.
know, but he did. He had great, I'm telling you that medical plan was
Mhm.
amazing. I'm like, okay, but they don't even do that anymore. So this is,
Mhm.
somebody who retired 20 years ago. But I was also conditioned to have those blockages, um, and that scarcity mindset. It
Mhm.
really is
Mhm.
truly a scarcity mindset. So that is definitely going to be one of the biggest hurdles that you are going to struggle with because I literally have been doing this for 25 years and still struggle with it. Still struggle with feeling comfortable sometimes investing back in my business. Like it's like, because you're like, I just got to hold on to it in case,
Mhm.
something happens and I have to hire somebody else, because if I lose a team member, when you have to hire someone new, it's 20% more than what you've already been used to paying, for
Mhm.
somebody and training and all that stuff. So, um, you getting to step 6, I think I would definitely say for you to keep going,
Mhm.
because it's going to if it does nothing else for you, then to confirm and build your confidence in you moving forward in the right decision. And information is going to be power for you, 100%. I can just tell from listening to you. But the other thing I want you to know is that I would absolutely 100% recommend against you leaving your job to become a consultant right now.
Mhm.
I
Oh
truly
yeah.
am a firm
Oh yeah.
believer in a transition year,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that transition year needs to clearly contain goals and boundaries that we can work through setting and you going through, because that transition year is all about you getting your business structure, your strategies, your systems and processes in place so that you can pick that quit date. And even your first couple clients, dabbling in the client space while you build that confidence, while you overcome this imposter syndrome, and while you get yourself into a place where you begin to see for yourself that it's actually safer working for yourself
Mhm.
than, you know, than a corporation. Because I always say the CEO of the corporation doesn't know me from Adam.
Mhm.
He has zero obligation or love for me, right? And so leaving my entire financial destiny up to a total stranger, to me, is the most unsafe thing that you can do. It's like just walking up to a stranger and saying, "Hold my bank card."
Mhm. Mhm.
Would you ever do that?
No.
None of us would ever. Here's my debit card. Hold on to that. And when I need something, give me your cell phone number and I'll call you.
Mhm.
Calling HR is just like doing that, because at any point that CEO can decide, I think I'm going to go and move to the Caymans with my family and get on my private jet and shut this whole thing down. It happens all the time. And
Absolutely.
so it's just a facade of safety. So I am so
Mhm.
excited for you that you have at least identified that the imposter syndrome, 100% real, and that feeling of safety net is 100% real. And continuing to work through, um,
the workbook that you're working through, step 6 and step 7, because it asks you some specific questions about contributions to the world, the value that you could bring in the world. But step 7, section 7, is all about imagining your life choosing safety, fake safety over real safety.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps. That really
Yeah.
helps in this process. Choosing fake safety over real safety. Um,
Yeah. I
it-
know it's fake. I know it's fake because unfortunately you just really can't trust. You cannot trust your management because a lot of times, I mean, you can be a great person, but when they say this is what you have to do, it's what they have to do. So if you lose your job, it's not like, it's business.
yeah.
It's business. And so I have too much responsibility to just continue to just leave it to someone else.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, Melissa, you've dabbled in this enough. You know, I I've ha- I've been a business owner, but
Hmm.
it was more in the real estate, wholesale real estate, doing
Hmm.
that. And so I understand. I mean, I've set up businesses, but I think for me, from a business, like, you have all this business knowledge and why can't you use it? Because you're always giving it out to everyone, but you're not saying, you know what, I'm really good at this.
Hmm.
I can really do this. I can be who I want to be and it's okay. And not saying, "Oh my God, who are you? You can't do that."
Right.
Because everyone else sees it, right? But it's like we have to see it.
Yes.
Because I asked my husband, I'm like, "What do you think, just because, your husband knows you the best, right?"
Right. Right.
And I'm like, what do you see me as the coach or the so he was like, I just don't know why you just keep going through this. It's just the business. He said it comes so naturally. He was like, yeah, you can help people with the relationships and transition. He said, yeah, you can do that. He said, but you can look at a business and say, okay, they need to do this, 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 and then like from tech to, the requirements, all of that. So why don't you just do that? And I was like, yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yes.
Because you have to listen to other people, right? Because they
Yeah.
know best when they see you
Yeah.
versus us thinking we know. I know myself. I know who I am.
Especially if you are a giver, it's very,
Hmm.
very difficult because if it feels good, your natural algorithm, your internal algorithm tells you that, it feels good, so it's not really something I can make money off of. Like we've literally been conditioned to
Oh.
believe if it's not hard, if it's not a struggle, if it's not something that brings a little bit of discomfort, then it's not real work.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is the opposite of what we were intended to experience on this earth.
Yeah.
That is not why God put us here. And so you going through the rest of that, that my favorite section, I think that's going to be so helpful for you is going to be section 8, getting
Okay.
clear on your underlying fears and obstacles. I want you to really take the time in that section to truthfully answer those questions because it's going to help identify for you your beliefs. It's really all around those beliefs. That's the first piece of that mindset piece. And it is something that, like I truly believe. And it also helps you determine what your mission statement is going to be, which your why statement is going to be, which ultimately will filter out into, okay, this is the product or service or thing that I think I can really bring to the world because it aligns with my why, which I have to realize the better it feels, the more of that I should do. The easier it is.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
what you should do. Work is not supposed to feel like work. You can be a millionaire and not work a million hours a week.
Okay.
You know what my dad used to tell me? You want to make 6 figures. You know how many hours a week people who make 6 figures work 60 to 80 hours. And I mean, I literally believe that. And I found myself one day telling my own children that exact same statement. You want to earn 6 figures? Then you got to work like somebody who wants to earn 6 figures. That's a minimum of 60 hours. And then I read a book called The 4 Hour Work Week because I thought oh, what fiction craziness is this? And it was like free with my Kindle. So I read it. And it was so good. I read it in one plane ride. And I literally said, oh my God, you have been conditioning your children to have a horrific work-life balance. Like what you just told them all this time is not real. So I literally apologized to every child I had when I got home. I'm like, don't listen to your mama at all. That is not true. And we are all about to be on this mission to work less, love what we do, and make more. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what entrepreneurship is going to bring for your life. But I definitely agree, we got to create a transition plan
Mm-hmm.
to make it feel safer, and so that you know kind of what you're up against before you take that leap. But that transition plan will include a quit date.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have a time bound goal. Um, but
Okay.
as you develop, you will see that your beliefs, we got to understand what they are and then begin to kind of overcome those for sure. So I would, at first
Mm-hmm.
I told you don't worry about continuing to go through, but I want you to go through all the steps in the book. It's going to help you. And once you get to the end, you'll have a a true business idea that feels good. And it may be a couple. It might be like, you know, I know consultant is where I'm at, but this is kind of the direction I can go, which is where you're going to end up because you already told me you have a ton of skills. And so all of those skills you're gonna be like, well, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this now as a consultant. And then through the market research and the competitive analysis, you will continue to wean down to the best, most validated, most likely, and most opportunity in what product or service you move forward with first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Notice I didn't say only,
Mm-hmm.
first. What we going to move forward with first? Because the
Right.
one that you pick first is the one that you want it to be the easiest and can make you the most money so that you can stick to that quick date, become full time as your entrepreneur, and then begin to add those other products and services. And most of the time, consulting does lead to coaching. I was always a consultant and added coaching only 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been in business for 25 years, was a consultant, still do consulting services, and decided to add coaching because I wanted to make sure that I could work with an audience that didn't want it done for them, wanted it done with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only difference. Done for you is consulting. Consultant is done for you services all day long. Someone's going to pay you to do something for them. But when you're coaching, someone pays you to do something with them. At least that's how I feel about it. Do something with them, not tell them what to do it with them,
Got it.
and that's, you'll develop even what that coaching looks like
Mm-hmm.
as you have more experience with the consulting piece. You'll have more to share. You'll have more experiences to feed off of, to mentor other people through. Um, but I'm very proud of where you've come, where you are from our last conversation.
Yeah, I definitely feel better. I feel, clarity is a wonderful thing.
You an entrepreneur, I got what you need.